Namaste Shiva, Avanandate, Mama Pratata, Arintha Jiva Sanasti. Hello, human. I'm a human, or I'm a phantom with the mask of a human. I talked before about the tree in the Garden of Eden. Now, let's suppose that this tree is a Devaganitra Kakit. It's an Apotheosis sacred tree, which means you get a fruit from it, you basically become like a living god. Now, we come back again to why have this in the first place? If it's going to be a thing, like, why put it there? Well then, the answer is pretty simple. So they can come back to it and be able to eat it later. After they suss out anyone who has the Garba. What is the Garba? Garba is essentially like, so in the narrative of Genesis, essentially Lucifer refuses to bow to man. However, Lucifer doesn't try to replace God. Follow me so far? Now, the thing is, if you eat from the tree, you're not actually replacing God. You're just getting, like, essentially godlike power as a human being. So essentially, Garba is like pride in unearned power that if someone had godlike power, and ate from the tree, they would actually try to replace God. Which is probably why they made sure that, we were kicked out of Eden, so that idiot couldn't eat from the tree. But, like, for a minute, just, like, bear with me. If it were possible for humans to become like gods, but there was some sort of sin that could keep us from it. If we're still drawing, at least partially from the Bible narrative, pride like unto the devil, but worse. Like some idiot Jiva deciding that they're already greater than God. Especially for a stupid reason. For example, if a child buys a puppet, or two puppets, start acting them out, but that child actually believes that while they're wearing those puppets, it's actually God. That would be Garba. It's basically like thinking you're actually a god. Like thinking you're a Deva when you're just a DS Jiva. and thinking you're already a god would mean you have no use for an apotheosis. Actually, hold up. That might make sense. Okay, hold up. Garva is thinking you're already a deva. Oh, that makes sense. Garva is when a jiva thinks they're a deva. That would make apotheosis absolutely impossible. Because, like, go from human to being a god, there's nothing after that. Like, you're a god then. Come on. Well, maybe Garva's also thinking there's something greater than being a god. Who knows? Alright, anyway. That's it from this phantom. You know what? Back in the day, there were, like, lots of little gods. Like, there would be a god of spark plugs. There'd be a god of lawnmowers. For example, there'd be a god of ducks, but there'd also be a god of duck toys. It seems a little reductionist, but it's also kind of like what I'm talking about. There's such a thing as like Margadeva or little gods. And like, if you were the world's best baker, you might become a baking god, for example, if that was a thing. But obviously not if you have the Garba, because like, then you'd think like, then you would be the world's best baker, and then you'd secretly think you're actually already the god of baking. Oh, you know what? Actually, that's even simpler. A human who's the world's best baker, who thinks they might, or even knows, they're the world's best baker, and secretly actually god of baking. Almost certainly doesn't have Garba. I'll tell you why. Because they don't think being good at baking makes them the god of all reality. You ever play D&D, it plays into the idea of portfolios. Like, gods have portfolios. They have things that are in their domain, that are their deal. Pretty much exactly like that, actually. Garba would be in a god, which it shouldn't happen because of this exact reason, saying that, like, your portfolio has to include everyone's portfolio, and they just, like, have to do what you want because you said that their portfolio's in your portfolio, and that's it. Like saying that you're the portfolio god, so you can do like that to have like all the portfolios because you think you're clever. That'd be the sort of thing like like an actual portfolio deva would literal job they would probably have like the literal actual weakest portfolio because their job would literally actually just be to make sure everyone else's portfolio was right. Like, oh, that'd be funny. Some idiot was like, I'll be the portfolio god, and I'll be able to have like access to all of the other David's portfolio, and then that idiot gets stuffed with doing paperwork forever. As far as I understand, actually, gods do a lot of paperwork. Like, you kind of have to take my word on this, but like, there's this whole thing with like a celestial bureaucracy in Yushan, and like they used to be in Zenmaru, but that was like a while ago, and there was another place before that too, but that place that place like exploded basically because someone who wasn't supposed to be there showed up and insisted that it owned the place. But like that's a whole other story. Anyway, so Jiba, if you were to be in Margadeva, I'm not saying like if you believe in Christ, that's fine. If you don't want to believe, if you don't want to do this exercise, I totally am. Like I understand. Like that idea might offend you. However, please consider it's also a lot like being a saint. That's the thing. Like what I'm talking about in terms of back to the day is terms of like legends of Taoist immortals and like and saints, like saints on the like working side by side with gods and stuff. Like it's I'm talking about like Puritana like Kala Puritana stuff. Like I'm talking about like legend and stuff. So like bear with me. This is like you know if tomorrow, next day, everyone's like, we get to be gods now. Everyone don't be greedy. What would you go for? Seriously. Like, mm, comic books, or like teaching guitar, or belly dancing. Like seriously. I mean, heck, there's 60. If you're familiar with the videos that I do with my other Barnika, there's a section on the Kama Sutra. There's 64 arts. Like that's like 64 potential godhoods right there. I'm not even joking. Anyway, if you're gonna be like a little god, you know, you bake the best brownies in town. No one takes care of plants like you. Every time you go to see someone, or like every time you go somewhere, people just get happier. Like that's a talent by itself, in my opinion at least. Anyway, thank you for watching, and please, what kind of god would you be?